All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, students, families, and supporters. We're so glad to have you joining us for today's virtual Q&A session, specifically a student panel for first-generation students at Stony Brook University. During this session, we have a couple peer assistant leaders or PALs who are trained with the New Student Programs Office and are first generation students themselves that are here to share their experience, their time at Stony Brook, any advice, tips, and tricks that they have for you. Please feel free to utilize the Q&A chat function to ask any questions. It can be a helpful way to kind of sort through questions and for people to look through them. You can use the chat, but again, please utilize the Q&A function. That can be really helpful to look through them. Chances are, if you have a question, someone has that as well. So we want to make sure that we are answering all of the questions you have, whether they are very specific or very general or broad. If you're unable to attend for the full timing, don't worry, we will be uploading this onto our YouTube channel at Stony Brook New Student Programs. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. We also have all of our other virtual Q&As will be uploaded at some point this summer if you want to attend any of those. So we're going to start with introductions with, I don't know if I introduced myself. My name is Stephanie. I use she, her pronouns. I'm one of the graduate student interns for the summer with New Student and Transition Programs. So is Lexi. She's here for kind of back end things. And then I'm going to Jasmine and Marlady, y'all can go ahead and introduce yourselves and similar to, panels, name, year, if you're living on campus, involvement, all that fun stuff.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm a rising sophomore, double majoring in astronomy and biology. I forgot what else I had to say.
Living on campus, your involvement.
All right, I'm going to be living on campus over the fall semester, and I'm currently involved in the Stony Brook Kendo Kumdo Club and Stony Brook Taekwondo Club.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marlady Gonzalez. My pronouns she, hers, and hers. I'm a senior major in biochemistry. I will be commuting this fall to campus, and I'm involved in a psychology club called the Humanology Project on campus.
That's awesome. So again, at any point, please put any questions you have or anything at all into the Q&A function. And I have some frequently asked questions that I can pull from, but again, we want to prioritize any questions that you have. So the first question I have for Jasmine and Marlady is, why did you choose Stony Brook University specifically?
So I chose Stony Brook because it's really close to my hometown, which is Brooklyn, New York. Also, because in the community that I live around, it's pretty well known, so it's reputable. Also, it's mainly my sister who kind of pushed me to apply and go for Stony Brook, because she mentioned oh, lots of well-known people are here. Think about the connections you can get at college, these people you can meet that will further your career. So that's mainly why I chose Stony Brook.
I chose Stony Brook because Jasmine is close to home. It's 2 hours away from the city. It's at well-known university, and yeah, that's why I chose Stony Brook.
Awesome. And can you give a little advice on how was your transition to Stony Brook University? And what advice do you have for that transition?
So my transition from high school to college was pretty smooth. The main reason was because my senior year in college was when we had the pandemic. So the main transition was already during high school. And then coming into college, it was just going back to in-person things. So it felt really normal for me.
I'm a transfer student, so my transition was really easy. The only things that for you to meet people, you need to go to events. Then go along if you don't have friends, and you will make friends in the events.
Awesome, thank you. And what are some resources that you want to make sure new students are aware of that Stony Brook University offers?
Well, definitely in your first semester, it's attending office hours because in high school I didn't really have anything like that, and it was kind of hard, like bringing myself, like pushing myself to go into it because I was kind of shy, and having to like talk to someone on my own was kind of awkward for me. But office hours, with your professor and teaching assistant really helps because if you're struggling in a class, then you can reach out to them and they can tell you directly like what you can do, how to study, or just to help you.
I would say the Academic Success and Tutoring Center. They also help you academic stuff like homework. They don't help you with homework, they help you with homework problems that you might not understand and some of the concepts. Also CPO, Center for Probation Outreach, they usually have trainings like bystander training and Archon training. They also have safe sets products and mentor product if you need. And the food pantry, that is free. You can get food there too.
Awesome, thank you. And again, please feel free to send us any questions you have in the chat or Q&A, just so we can, again, kind of personalize it to any questions you have. The next question I have is for those students that are interested in getting involved but don't really know how do they do that?
So more towards new students, there's Welcome Week, and that's like your first, I'd say that's like your first threshold, like crossing of the threshold into college. That's when you'll meet actual college students and meet other students in your situation. So during Welcome Week, which is going to be August 15th to 22nd or 21st, you'll have a lot of events that will let you get to know other people better. A lot of like mixing events, I say, and if you attend at least like one or two of them, I'm sure you'll have a nice time.
Yes, as Jasmine said, Welcome Week, you can also find events and clubs at the SB Engage website and the core app. Also, they're on the boards on campus that will always be posted the events happening that week. And the Instagram accounts, the clubs will be posting their events on Instagram too.
I'm also going to put SB Engaged and Cork, the names of them, in the chat, so you can also always look them up. One is an app and one is a website. Okay, we have a couple questions. Are there any resources or scholarships specifically for first generation students at SBU?
So I'm not entirely sure about this. I don't think there's any specific scholarship for it, but just scholarships in general, Stony Brook does offer a lot. There's a website for it, but I don't know on the top of my head. If you Google SBU scholarships, it will pop up. Resources wise, in general, I say like it's the resources available to the public, like if you need mental health resources or like just health services or any accommodations, we have a lot of resources regarding that. So there's nothing like specifically for first generation students because most of our students are first generation, but I'm sure like if you need anything, then our school could cover that.
Awesome. And then the next question is, I've heard from teachers about double majoring. Could you explain what it is and how can you do it?
Yeah, so double majoring just means you have two majors at the same time. So you may have to take like more of a course load to fulfill both of your majors. So it's just like to get a second major added on, there's a form you can submit on Solar, but I don't believe that's not open yet. And that's how you do it. Exactly what it is, it's just like if you just want to major in two things, like let's say I'm in biology and astronomy, like I am interested in both, so I decided to try out double majoring. And also like you can also drop a major if you end up not liking it. So I guess it's if you want more of a bigger like skill set.
Awesome.
You can also add a major, like on my case, I'm a senior and I'm a major in biochem. I could add a double major. It could be, for me, if I did it, it could be in bio or chemistry, because it's something related that I already have a lot of the requirements fulfilled. So I will only have to take a couple of classes to fulfill the chemistry double major, the chemistry major, or the biology major.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. All right. So just another kind of clarifying question. So you can add another major later on, right?
Yeah, as long as there's time for you to complete it. So like Marlady mentioned, she's in biochem. Yeah, so biochem means it's you have biology classes, chemistry classes, and some physics classes. So if she were to add on a biology major, the classes she's already taken could like be transferred over to that major. So if she's able to graduate, if she's able to take the classes in time before she graduates, then you can add another major.
So are you able to take classes that would potentially fulfill a major and then add it if you're interested? Or do you have to clear the major and then take classes?
No, you can take the classes as long as you meet the prerequisite requirements.
Awesome, thank you. And then what does a typical day look like for each of you at Stony Brook University?
All right, so from my point of view, which would be living on campus, back in my freshman year, I had early classes because I'm an early bird, so I just prefer waking up early. I'd wake up around like 7 o'clock because that's just my schedule. We have our communal bathroom, so I just get ready there, and then I go eat breakfast in the dining hall. Then I just walk to class. There is a bus stop in front of the dining hall, so if the bus comes on time, I'll just take it. Shortens my commute, and I just go to class. In class, I usually take notes on a physical notebook because I prefer that, but I do know a lot of students use tablets or laptops. And then I just eat lunch, go to any other classes, go to clubs, and then go sleep.
For me, I live off campus. Like if I have a class that's at 10 a.m., that's the earliest that I try to enroll in a class. I will wake up around 7, get ready. I take the train. I live 15 minutes from the train, so it takes me 15 to 20 minutes. I take the 8:30 train. I'm on campus by 8:45. If I didn't make breakfast that morning, which I usually don't, I just get Dunkin's or something like that. And you check the material for that day, what's gonna be taught, wait for my class. I had a class that was like an hour and a half. After that class at 1 p.m., I would go to the dining hall and spend there like 2 or 3 hours. At 3 p.m., I would have another online class. Sometimes I would go somewhere else. I would just stay in the dining hall and connect to my class from there. And after my class, I would take a break. Sometimes go to clubs or go to office hours if they have office hours that day. And that was basically my day. After that, we just commute back home.
Awesome, thank you. This question is geared a little bit towards Jasmine. So do you live with somebody else? If so, how is that experience? Is it easy living with another person you're not familiar with?
Sorry.
You can also jump in with your off-campus experience too.
Yeah, so on campus, I roomed with another person, but it was my friend from middle school and high school, so I already kind of knew her. I just never lived with her, so it wasn't exactly easy living with her because everyone's different. We come from different backgrounds. Some things you do at home might not be what other people do at home. Like you might clean up a certain way and other people might not. You might consider something messy and other people wouldn't consider it messy. So Other than that, it was pretty easy. It's you just need to come to the right terms because your roommates aren't necessarily your like friends, and they don't have to be if you don't get along with them. And like if you have any problems, you can always talk to your resident assistant. So my experience was fairly nice. Um, yeah.
Marlady, do you have any roommates? Where do you live off campus? How's that commute?
I have roommates. I live with 3 other girls. As Jasmine said, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes because everyone have different habits on their house. And then it's like you put a group of people together with different habits in their houses. And sometimes they're gonna be like disagreements, but you just gotta learn sometimes to ignore things and keep in mind that you don't need to be their friend if you don't want to. And that will make your life really easy.
Awesome, thank you. The next question I have is, are there any mental health resources on campus if students get stressed or anything comes up throughout the semester?
Yes, so outside of departments that are available, I do know that there's different like events you can go to. So we do have sensory rooms on campus if you need to de-stress or just need a place to like gather yourself, then you can go and chill over there. There's always events where they put on like low music and you can just participate and have fun at the same time.
Awesome, thank you. Another question we have is living off campus more cost efficient?
I would say it's a little bit more cost efficient depending also where you live. Like in my case, I live close to the train. So I don't have to have a car and commute, but if you had to pay for rent and pay for car insurance and all this stuff, it wouldn't be more cost efficient. But also you gotta keep in mind that you're gonna be commuting every day. So you gotta take out your day 30 to 45 minutes every day to commute. So it depends on you. Like, are you willing to pay a little bit more and just be really close to everything on campus or just commute? And what else? I think that's everything I will have to say about that.
Awesome, thank you. How do y'all manage your time as college students?
I guess it's mainly like scheduling everything on a schedule. I use Google Calendar, and it just makes it easier to see what I have. So any clubs or organizations I'm part of, I add to the calendar. Any upcoming events or exams, and my classes. I also put like little slots for my breaks, like food breaks. So just so I had an idea. Oh, I also laundry. So I have specified laundry days and like chore days. So that's how I had a schedule.
Yeah, I use Google Calendar sometimes. Sometimes I use a planner, but something that I started doing is that I use a sticky note on my computer, and I put everything I had to do for that day or that week, because I'm gonna carry my computer anywhere. So it's just gonna be there when I open my computer, it's gonna pop up. And I don't have to carry the planner, which is gonna add weight to my backpack. And as Jasmine said with laundry, I don't really have a specific laundry day, but since I have a washer and a dryer home, what I do is that I just put the clothes in the washer and the dryer, and I just keep with my night with my day doing stuff. And I just stop for 5 minutes and take it out of the washer and put it on the laundry, on the dryer, and then I keep going with my day.
Awesome, thank you. Another question we have, are there any student discounts for the train?
Sadly, no, there's no student discount for the train.
Yeah, same price as everybody else, but it's helpful. There's a couple apps that are helpful, right, Marlady?
Yes, there is the train time app, which you use to check the time when the train is coming. And it's usually pretty accurate. Will tell you if the train is delayed or is there changes that you need to like take another train and connect to another train to get where you're going. And there's also the NTA e-tips app where you can buy the ticket and have your electronic ticket there.
And then another question that came up is, are there student Metro cards? And you kind of talked about being able to pay it on your phone. Do you have anything else to add for that?
You can have a ticket on your phone, but there's not really a student Metro course. For college students, there's no student Metro card. I know that for high school students, there used to be like a high school Metro card that they will give you, but after you have graduated high school, you don't have that perk anymore.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. Another question that I have is, are there any activities or clubs related to the LGBTQ plus community? And we can also extend that to like different identity-based clubs or communities.
Yes, so we do have, so Stony Brook loves its diversity, and we have, for LGBTQ plus, we have a club. I don't know if it's called the LGBTQ plus, it might be LGBTA club, which is paired with the LGBTQ center on campus, and that is above the West Side Dining Hall. They have events throughout the entire semester entire year that you can attend. Also, one of our Stony Brook traditions is SBU Pride and Diversity Day. So we celebrate Pride regardless of identity.
Awesome. And Jasmine's background is actually, you can see towards the right of her is, or the left is the center.
The center is, so this whole thing is West Side Dining, and this would be, I can't really point because it's hard. That little like area over there is where the LGBTQ plus center is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they have on center campus or on campus center specifically that has programming and professional staff to make sure that community is being supported and has resources.
Also, this is a little off topic, but in the Roosevelt community recently, there has been a road. So we have a pit and there's bricks there, and those are loose bricks. So towards the end of my spring semester, I saw that people would paint like basically like transgender like figures in history that have passed away, and they would paint like portraits of them and put them in the road. So it's become like a small little decorative path.
That's awesome. Very beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Another question is, how is it dealing with like financial aid? Is that something really stressful? Do you have any tips for kind of navigating that?
I would say always file your FAFSA on time. If you have any question, you can always go to the financial aid office. They're usually really helpful, and you can just walk in, and you can make appointments with them, but you can also walk in and they will just hire you wait till someone is available to see you, and then that person will come in, bring you into the office, go through your financial aid papers and see what they can do and how they can help you. If you want a job on campus through financial aid, you should definitely file FAFSA before the deadline, because they give priority to the people who filed the FAFSA by the deadline that they set. That's the only thing.
And then another specific question is, who can we refer to for help and advice about financial aid? So if y'all wanted to put in even like the contact information for financial aid office in the chat, that could be awesome.
Yeah, so we do have a department for that. I'm currently looking for their email. You can call them or email them, I believe, or meet with them in person. Okay. Their email is, I will put it in the chat. Their email is finaid@stonybrook.edu. So anything you have like regarding financial aid and scholarships, you could contact them through there.
And are there any other academic resources that you recommend students be aware of? What if students potentially need like any accommodations for their classes?
Oh, they should go to SASE. SASE is the student, it was really the acronym for.
Student Accessibility Support Center.
Yeah, they will help you if you need help. If you break your hand and you need help, someone taking notes for you, they will help you find someone to take the notes for you. If you need extra time for your tests or your exams, they will make sure that you get that extra time. If you need to take the test in a separate place, they also have a testing center where they can schedule a time where you can take a test there.
Awesome. And what are some good places on campus that you recommend to study or just hang out in between classes?
Oh, you could go first. All right. So there's a lot of choices on campus because almost every building has its own study or lounge area. My personal favorite would be the Humanities Atrium in the Humanities building. So it's a really quiet area, usually filled, but very silent. So it's based on what you like. If you like background noise, then you could go to like the Long Center. It's pretty loud because the fountains are always on as well. So there's water in the background. And there's also places where there's moderate noise, like the library. Yeah, it's based on preference.
I will say it also depends where your class is and where your next class is gonna be. Like if you just had a class in the library and your next class is in Fry Hall, you wanna stay close. You can stay in the library or go to the atrium, which is not that far. But if you had class in the life sciences buildings, I would say the social behavioral science building, they have a lounge, which is pretty nice, and they have nice couches, and it's usually pretty quiet. It's a nice place to do work on your computer, read a book, and anything like that.
Awesome, thank you. You shared a little bit about this earlier, but what are some clubs and organizations that you joined? How did you find them? So how did you start getting involved?
So I mainly went for clubs that like I already were comfortable with. So that was SBU Taekwondo. That was what I was comfortable with. And I just found that they were a really nice community. The second organization, SBU Kendo Kundo, I heard through a friend who invited me to go to their practices. Also, my roommate, this is a coincidence, my roommate also went to that club. So that's how I found my clubs.
For me, I joined the Humanity Project because I was looking for a club, but I didn't know which one to join. And I would get a weekly email from the biochem department with things, with opportunities and clubs and at least like things that you can do. And they sent an email about the Humanology Project and that they were like interviewing people to join them. And I decided to like go to the interview process and apply to join the club. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And do you have any advice, if you could go back and say something to your freshman self, what is something that you would tell them?
Probably to join more clubs. Mainly because I joined my clubs in my second semester. In my first semester, I was very introverted, you could say. So I didn't try out anything. I went to events, but not like that many, because I was kind of like scared to meet new people. But after you go through like your first or second event by yourself, you'll get more comfortable going to others.
I would say no, don't procrastinate, do things on time.
Awesome, thank you. And then what does your kind of like class and course schedule look like? Do you usually have many classes in one day? Do you spread them out? What does that look like?
Everyone's schedule is pretty unique. Usually they're kind of like symmetrical, so there's a pattern. You'd either have Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes or Tuesday, Thursday classes. For me at least, they were mainly in the morning, so I never had a class after 6 p.m. Well, morning and afternoon. That way I had time to go to events and clubs.
Yeah, for me, it depends. Sometimes I had class at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. Sometimes you got that gap. If you raise up a lot of classes, sometimes you're gonna have like a 20-30 minutes window. And as seniors, I don't have that many classes to take anymore. So for now, my schedule for next semester is gonna be like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. And then I will have like Thursday to Friday, all the way to Sunday free.
And if students are struggling in classes or trying to figure out how they study best, do you have any advice on, how they can figure that out? Or are there any resources on campus that they can go to?
The students who says in tutoring center, they will help you with that. They have a skills-based tutoring, so they can help you like find the best way you can study the way that's more convenient for you. Because everyone has had different way to study that they learn more, and they're more efficient to them. Yeah.
And how do you sign up for those sessions?
You will go, you will make an appointment through the Navigate app.
Awesome, thank you. Another question that we have is, would you say that high school or college was more stressful in terms of their schedule? Is college more flexible?
Yeah, college is a lot more flexible. That was one of the things that surprised me because I've only heard about it, never experienced it. In high school, your schedule is made for you based on like the classes you need to take. In college, you make your own schedule, so you could put like classes wherever you want. You also get to choose your professors, which I couldn't do in high school. The only main like difference would be that a 1 year class in high school, so like a class that takes a year to complete, is like the equivalent to one semester class in college. So it's just faster paced.
And then this is kind of jumping back a little bit, but where is the Academic Success Tutoring Center located?
It is located in the student union, the lower level. So the student union is right in front of the library. You will see it. It says study union, and you walk in and you go down to the lower level, and there will be like a sign, and we'll let you know which way and the room number where it's located.
Awesome, thank you. All right, if you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the chat now. Since we have a small group, we'll probably be wrapping up in the next 5 or so minutes. So please make sure to get your questions in there so we can get everything answered. Just gonna wait a moment to make sure we have all of them. Okay, what is your advice on how best to plan your college class schedule? How many classes do you recommend taking during the first semester?
I would say always go to the full-time 12 credits, but depending on the kind of student that you are, some students take 15, 17 credits on the first semester. I wouldn't do that. I would just keep to the 12 because it's adapting to a new place, a new way to study, new professors, different way of teaching. And what was the other part of the question? And what is the best, how to best plan your college, this classes schedule? Advisor will give you a list of classes that you need to take. So it's good for you to go through the class, you made your bulletin. We have a tool that's called Class Find. You can also see the classes that are open there and how many requirements on the for your major or your general requirements that class fulfill. You can also go based on that or based on when that class is offered, like if that class is offered in the spring or if offer involve a spring and fall semester. Because some classes are now for the whole year.
And also, if you are gonna take over 15 credits or just 15 credits and more, I would not recommend having all in-person classes. That's gonna be really stressful. I had 16 credits in my first semester, but it was manageable because I had an online class and two online classes, but one of them was asynchronous, so I could study on my own free time.
Awesome, thank you. Another question we have is, if you end up not liking the major that you chose, can you change it in the future?
Yes, you can always change your major. Just keep in mind that I would say during the first year, during the first 2 years, if you're not taking like major classes, which you probably won't be, it will be easier for you to change your major. But once you get into your third year, which is your junior year, it will be a little bit more complicated for you to change your major because you're gonna have already a lot of the requirements that you completed for that major, meaning that you can still change your major, but you're gonna probably delay your graduation because you're gonna have to start taking on the major courses for that major that you're changing to.
Awesome, thank you. And can you choose to drop a class and take it at a later time, or can you just drop it completely? The question is regarding both required and non-required. So I think like major classes versus electives.
Yes, so dropping a class is kind of so I would say it's best to swap a class rather than drop it if you want to take it a later time. Dropping completely just means like for that semester you just can't get back into that class at all. That's why I say it's better to swap. But there is a deadline for the swapping and dropping of classes, which you can find on the Stony Brook academic calendar.
And what does swapping classes mean?
Swapping classes just means exchanging them. So let's say you have a chemistry class at 8 a.m. and you don't want to take it at 8 a.m. and you found an open class at 9 a.m. You could swap them.
So it's like a feature of one of like the actions that you can do on the website, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the questions. These were awesome. Again, last call, please feel free to put any other questions in the chat. But we want to thank you so much for putting in your questions, coming and attending. If you were not able to join for the entire time, or there are any other the categories of Seawolf Connections that you are interested in but didn't have the time to attend, you can always go back to our YouTube channel. We're in the process of making sure that they are all uploaded for this summer's worth of Q&As. So we really appreciate you coming and participating, and we're so excited to welcome you and support you through your journey as Seawolves. But have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.